Hello, fabulous superstar Virgo. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of May 2025. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. Consultations are now available with me or Andy of Wise Ask Astrology over on my website, nadiyashah.com/consultations, links below. As we start the month, two interesting phenomena are set to take place. The first is Mars leaves shadow. The second is that Pluto goes retro. Mars has been in one phase of its retrograde season or other, going all the way back to early October. That was when Mars first began to walk a path that eventually Mars would retrograde over starting in early December and went direct over starting in mid-February. Well, now here we are. That third and final pass over that exact sidewalk in the sky that Mars has been going back and forth on, well, it now comes to an end. And what that means is Mars is now on brand new territory. While moving through the sign just before yours, a lot stirring on levels of soul, psyche, and spirit. Maybe some challenges getting enough rest. It's an inner restlessness, if you will, that can even make sleeping hard. But the amazing thing about this part of the sky is that it reminds us, or at least fills us with a feeling. Not necessarily the details or the clarity, but a feeling that there's more to do in this lifetime. And there absolutely is for you. Pluto, on the other hand, will on the 4th of the month officially go retrograde. Once Pluto goes retrograde, Pluto really will be the only major planet to be retrograde for about 2 months. It will be once we step into July that other planets will start retrograding. A retrograde planet invites you to take that energy and own it more fully, to become more contemplative with it, to understand how it shows up for you, not only in your own life, but in terms of within yourself, and how it defines you in important ways, or at least one part of you. It is Pluto that has been moving through a part of the sky for you that has to do with how well you take care of you, but also it has to do with your work environment and the people you interact with regularly. Pluto, as a general principle, reminds us of powerlessness and what healthy focus could be. With Pluto going retrograde, it reminds you to focus on yourself, to understand what it is to be authentic as you move through the smallest moments of your life, and what it is that is at essence, what it is to be useful, and how you're going to use each of those moments well so that they align you with what feels essential and what feels like it moves beyond just the superficial and actually matters, no matter how other people might see it. Using your days so that you affirm, so that you fuel, so that you strengthen what really matters to you, well, that is what you're going to learn to do that much more fully as you come to understand more deeply what actually does matter. That personal clarity ends up being incredibly valuable to your future actions. Now, Pluto goes retrograde for about 5 months every year. Here we go. We're starting it, and it is going to be Pluto that stays retrograde right to the middle of October. On the 12th of the month, we will have this month's full moon. This full moon takes place in a part of the sky for you that has to do with siblings, cousins, neighbors, and it has to do with what's happening in your neighborhood. Synchronistic moments are also a part of this. Now, normally we think of synchronicity as being in the right place at the right time, meeting the right person, and it makes all the difference. And that would have the subtext of being really great experiences. Well, it might be that, but here's the thing. Ultimately, synchronicity helps you to connect your inner lessons with your outer world and helps you to integrate, to learn that much more about what's really inside of you so that you make it conscious, so that you can then align with a life of greater intention, a life shaped by your own choices and no one else's. And those choices, when they come from that place of knowing within, we could call it soul, well, that's when we know that they're aligned with greater love and greater wisdom. But sometimes the way we get there, it isn't necessarily comfortable. And that might be part of the signature under the light of this full moon. And that is because the full moon will stand across the sky from Uranus. There is tension. There is a surprise a minute. There is frustration. And this is an energy of some extreme, which means that a surprise comes up and then it's like, okay, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to navigate from here? What is this going to mean? It may not be evident in the moment because there is that element of surprise here. Now, also possible though is this energy plays out with a sibling, cousin, neighbor. It could be in your relationship with them, or it could be just what's happening with them and not necessarily about you directly. But yeah, this is unexpected turns of events, unexpected happenings, unexpected behavior in particular that might arise at this time. Now, whatever needs to arise, of course, let it be what it needs to be, because ultimately there is some truth there, whether that truth is in how a person reacts to a circumstance that feels random or out of nowhere, or that truth might be much more personally oriented as people learn about themselves and these people around you, or you learn about yourself as you are figuring out more and more what and whom it is you want to be. As we move forward, just 5 days later, we are going to have what some astrologers like to call the most surprising day of the year, or the most shocking day of the year. It's an energy of extremes as well, when the sun meets Uranus in the sky for their annual meeting. These two getting together now are taking place in fellow Earth sign Taurus. This is the last time we're going to have the most shocking day of the year take place in this part of the sky for another 8 decades to come. And that is because the next time these two get together next year, they will be in a whole other part of the zodiac. And I'll be here to talk about it every step of the way. Having said that, yeah, here we are. This is a worldly part of your sky. Long distance travel, immigration, citizenship, higher learning, legal matters are covered here, along with the personal beliefs that help you to make sense of the world, that guide your life, political, philosophical, even spiritual as well. And so when we have the sun meeting Uranus, if you are involved in any one of these areas I just mentioned, yeah, you can expect things to go in all kinds of directions you hadn't anticipated, or maybe in the process of, or in the activity related to these particular areas I mentioned just now, well, you might find that you have your own personal epiphanies. You have certain realizations that feel like they came out of nowhere, that might even surprise you, but ultimately represent something true for you, a changing sense of understanding about what you believe, but also about who you are. Now, for example, if you're involved in a legal matter, yeah, there could be some developments there that take you by surprise. But again, this could be a great surprise or a great shock. It could be a sense of things accelerating very quickly or falling apart. This is an energy of extremes. It goes one way or another. If you're in an institute of higher learning, for example, yeah, it could be in that environment that it feels like there are some unexpected, perhaps even wonky occurrences. If you are doing long distance travel right now, give yourself lots of time and allow yourself to have plans change as they might at this time as well. But for all that, we've got here energies that say there is a epiphany a minute, and epiphanies are ultimately good because they bring with them a clearer perspective. And for you, that clearer perspective is where you belong in the world and whom it is that you are in the world, what you believe about it, who you are to the world as well. On the 25th of the month, Saturn changes signs. It's a jam-packed month, isn't it? Now, there may be a Saturn special horoscope coming later this month. That is my intention, so be on the lookout for that. And of course, I'll talk about it here on YouTube in the superstar space. But having said that, let's talk about it now, because this is a really big deal of an energy. We're going to get a little taste of Saturn moving into a brand new part of the sky. And Saturn will move in here on the 25th, will be here until the later part of October, at which time Saturn will retrograde back into your opposite sign. And then just in time for Valentine's Day next year, will leave your opposite sign, not to return for well over 2 decades. Having said that, yeah, I think Saturn just leaving your opposite sign, that in and of itself should feel a bit of a relief, if not a lot of a relief. On the one hand, just not having Saturn opposite you feels as if there's less pressure coming from outside of you, there's less power struggle. There's less people who you look at as equals, as partners, acting like they're the boss of you. So all of that can feel very welcome. Saturn is moving into a part of the sky that has to do with change, truth, transformation, regeneration, and wealth as well. And so wherever Saturn goes, look, it's an eye towards being honest, getting real, but it's also manifestation. And Saturn is sometimes seen as the scary thing, but not necessarily. Where it is that Saturn helps us to manifest something solid, something better, and in this case, more wealth over the period of this larger transit, which is about 3 years in the making, well, it is to be welcomed that much more. It is a time of getting serious about what's real in your life, what isn't, and what it is to be truly you. What's got to change so that you can be that? Well, you're willing to back up your understanding with action, ensuring that you become more of whom it is you believe yourself to be. The 26th of the month, the next day, we have this month's new moon. And this new moon takes place at the top of your sky, having to do with career, social standing, life purpose, and your understanding of a higher, more loving vision for your life. Now, this is a fortunate new moon. It is speaking in supreme harmony with Pluto, in harmony with Neptune and Saturn, and it is close in the sky to Mercury. And all of that is to say, yeah, this is new career-related opportunities, or more personally, a new understanding of what it is that you want to do next, what new goals you might have for yourself. I do think there are a lot of practical applications here. A new career opportunity, and you feel ready for it. You're doing the effort, you're putting in the time, but you're also honing in and focusing in. Interview and audition situations can go exceptionally well at this time. And this might also be a time when a new boss comes in, or you get a chance to become an authority figure in your own right. This is an energy of opportunity, new opportunities, but they serve as a seed moment, a very beginning to what more could be possible. Where it comes to matters of love, I'm going back to Saturn here because Saturn has been in your opposite sign since the early part of 2023. And that has to do with partnerships, where you are in love and how you feel about it. The thing is, when we have Saturn in a part of the sky, it's like the universe knows that some of your most important lessons are going to be learned in that sphere. And so there's options and opportunities there that do have a way of coming about. And so for many Virgos, love and how it is you share in the context of love, where you've been in love, where you are now, how you feel about it, all of that has been an area of contemplation where you're willing to engage some important lessons as part of learning more about you, and as part of wanting a love and a partnership that is real. That's what matters to you at this time. Well, as Saturn leaves this part of the sky, you should notice that relationships, partnerships, love, they feel like they calm right down right away. That can be very welcome for you. But as they calm right down, as their energy dissipates, well, it becomes that much easier to feel ease and softness around love. So for those of you open to meeting someone new, if you found it challenging to meet people where you really felt that there was a sense of being on the same page, a sense of solid promise, Well, it is now as Saturn leaves. Some astrologers like to say when Saturn leaves, it leaves a gift. Yeah, that's possible. But remember, Saturn is going to come back around, which means there's a little bit more learning to do here as we get towards the end of the year. But for all that, yeah, relationships, it's like you're understanding where you've been, you're understanding what it is you want next. And this is a moment of some change. And that change just might be how you approach relationships. For those of you just starting to date someone, you're getting really honest about who this person is and whether or not there's long-term potential here. And at least it doesn't feel as if you really feel like you want them or you need them or you got to have them around, right? That's the thing that eases up as soon as Saturn leaves this part of the sky. If this is meant to be something more, that'll reveal itself very quickly as soon as Saturn changes signs. If not, that really is okay as well. There'll be an ease with which you're able to connect with new people going forward from here, at least for this chapter of Saturn's movements. And for those of you in an established bond, wherever Saturn goes, you're inspired to work. And what I've found is people in relationships at the start of this transit, they're willing to do the work to be with their partner, to stay together. Saturn leaves here and you know what's your work to do and what isn't. And either you're on the other side of that work and it pays off and the two of you are closer together, or you realize you've sacrificed way too much, you've done enough, and you just don't want to do any more. These become some possible scenarios now. Where the relationship is good, if there was any challenges taking place with your partner, maybe it didn't have anything to do with the relationship, but stuff happening in their life, well, now you should notice their challenges ease up. That can be very welcome. This period of time has been meant to show you how you really feel, how deeply you care, what you're really wanting and expecting from each other, what's reasonable to expect from the other and what isn't. Well, it is now that you'll feel that you have the answers you need for now. And from there, you get to figure out if this is a strong alliance, it's going to continue that much more deeply committed. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. I'm going to say, wow, there's so much going on. I think that Saturn leaving your opposite sign is a really big deal, is very promising. That in and of itself does suggest that there is an ease with which you are able to interact with others and move through the world. It's less about other people acting like they're the boss of you, but it's more about you feeling like you're able to see through illusion and get to a deeper level of understanding of yourself and of others. That's what's likely to be there as soon as Saturn changes signs. So enjoy this. See how you feel as you are interacting with others in business, in love, or otherwise. That's going to tell you something about where now the energy has eased, but also where now there is set to be some sense of positive development, likely before the month is out. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership rate over at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, where you get expanded exclusive video scopes for each and every sign. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, links below. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.